Hey everyone, it's Minty, and no, I am not dead. Before we get into the video, I just want to quickly say sorry about not uploading last week. I'm in the middle of exams right now. Someone please save me. And sadly, I've had to sacrifice art for studying. It's a tragedy, I know. Hence why I've hopped onto digital today, because it's a lot more convenient. Anyway, this video is just going to be a quick summary of my OC Olive for those of you who have seen her around, but you might not know much about her because the last time I properly talked about her story was when I didn't use a voiceover, so it's kind of boring to watch, and I think this will be a lot more helpful to understand what's going on with her life and everything. Yeah, let's get into it. Starting off with the setting of her story, she lives on Earth, but it's a couple of hundred years into the future. Technology has developed quite a lot, but not everyone has access to it, so some areas are pretty similar to how life is now. Olive lives in a really big city. I haven't thought of a name for it yet because I'm terrible at that stuff, but there are three kind of different areas within the city. So there's the struggling, poorer area, and here's how I would imagine that part to look like. Then we have the mid-average kind of area, which is where Olive would live, and the rich area. I'm saying area way too much, but yeah, that's how I imagine all those three parts of the city to look. Now, some info about Olive. Now, I haven't really written everything down, but I imagine her to be very athletic. I think she would have quite a short attention span, which is kind of a fault, but that's due to all the technology and everything in their life, so kind of everyone's like that, which isn't very good, but it's true. Her brother is actually one of my other OCs, which is called Salt, but he doesn't live on Earth. He's gone to space to do some other mission stuff, blah blah blah. That's not the point of this video, but yeah. A main personality trait of hers is that she's very determined, and she's also quite intelligent. If I had this story made into a movie, these would be the songs in the backing track, so if you want to get the vibe of her whole life, then you can look up these songs if you don't know them. Olive has heterochromia, so she has two different colored eyes. One is green and one is brown. This is going to be a very important factor in the story later on, so, you know, stay tuned. The story begins with Olive just living her everyday life in her apartment until there's a whole alien invasion. These aliens, though, are basically humans. They're just from another planet, and unfortunately they have a lot better technology, so the humans on Earth basically have no chance. When the ship arrives in her city, the power goes out, so obviously everyone's panicking because that never happens, and Olive makes a run for it. Her parents aren't home, so she's completely alone, and she realizes the gravity of the situation really quickly, and she just sprints out that house. She sprints through all the different sections of the city that I showed earlier, and she jumps over like a wall, and she gets out of the main city. All this is supposed to be very intense because the city is really populated, so there's people running everywhere and screaming and all that, and the alien people are starting to shoot with their little goo guns, which is a lot more serious than I make it sound actually, but I'm not going to go into that so much in this video because I only have 6 minutes of footage. Anyway, so yeah, she runs out the city, and you can see that in the animatic that I made a week ago or so. The drawing on screen right now is supposed to be one of the alien people. It's just a regular human, but she has a very distinctive factor that all the aliens have, and it's the same green and brown eyes that Olive has. Now, that does not mean Olive is an alien. She is human, she's from Earth and everything, she just has it naturally, but these people from the other planet are like a species with just these eye colors, and that is not necessarily going to work in Olive's favor. By the time people notice this pattern in the aliens, they realize they have green and brown eyes. If they see Olive, they're gonna think she's an alien, and that won't go down well, will it? However, this also helps Olive in some cases, especially when she's escaping the city, because she does run into some of the aliens, but they take a look at her and they think, oh, it's just another one of us. She's got the same eyes. Let her go, obviously. She's clearly doing some sort of mission that we're not involved in. And that's how she manages to escape the city, whereas not many other people do. I'm sure a couple slip out if they live near the edge, but most people do get trapped inside. Also, I just want to quickly mention that I do not know what the aliens' uniform would look like, so I just drew out these sketches and stuff of what I thought of off the top of my head, but I don't think it would be like that because it looks too bright and colourful. I think it would be something a bit more serious and boring. The city now has a force field around it because the aliens want full control control and they don't want anyone messing with it. So Olive just continues on walking. Outside of the city, it's a lot more, it's kind of deserty. It's very empty and sandy, and she knows a place because she would occasionally go out with her mum to visit a friend. So she starts walking towards that town, which is quite far away, but she makes it there. And she goes to the petrol station at which her friend's dad works. So obviously he knows her and he takes her in for the night. At this point, the people outside of the city don't really know what the aliens look like. They're not sure what's happened, but they have seen the explosions and the ships and stuff, but they haven't seen the aliens themselves, so they don't know about Olive's eyes being the same as the aliens yet. I'm not going to go into full detail of all of the plot because I don't have that much time, but eventually the people that she's staying with, who have a lot of people staying with them now because they're all seeking shelter from different places that have been invaded by the aliens, because the aliens have gone all over the world basically, and they have only taken the major cities. So the little towns like the one where Olive is, those are fine. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, in this town, she meets Hazel and some other people who she makes friends with. She doesn't like Hazel that much at first, but they eventually do become friends. At this point, the town is just kind of trying to survive. There's not that many people in it, and they're kind of running out of food because they would usually get that from the city. Within a couple of days of staying with these people, they find out about the whole eye situation, and they're about to kick Olive out, and she manages to convince them that she's a normal human and she doesn't know anything about what's going on. Long story short, Olive and her friends plan to get her into the city so that she can go undercover as an alien and try sort this whole thing out, even though she's only 16. Kind of cliche, but I like it. I'm so annoyed that I'm running out of time, but basically there's going to be a bunch of betrayals. She's going to befriend some of the aliens, and then there's going to be some moral dilemmas and all of that. Let me know if you want to know more about her story because I have so much more planned for it, and I am so annoyed I didn't get to tell you. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye!